Good morning, Grinders. Welcome to the DFS pregame show here on RotoGrinders. I'm Jordan Cooper, aka Blender at Blender HD. You can follow me there on Twitter. And this is the show where we go over a little bit about yesterday's slate. Maybe we got some stuff on Results DB updated. Talk a little bit about today's big. We got a 15-game slate. And I don't think we got any weather problems today, but we could take a look-see at today's slate. And as always, answer your strategy questions, DFS related. It doesn't even have to be baseball, but whatever you want to talk about in the YouTube chat. I see you guys in there: Doug Montgomery, Daniel Hutchings, Brandon McNeil, Woo J Train, Card Fan, Apocalypse, A1 Beast Mode, by Michael Dompier, Red Psych Sports, real life pitcher. That's it. Just real life pitcher. Okay. Jerome Lewis, DFS Degenerate. Welcome. Good morning. Hit that thumbs up button. Give me those thummy thumbs in the morning. I don't get apple juice. I got Gatorade. I've been rehydrating. I was sick over the weekend. So drinking with the electrolytes. It's all about the electrolytes, right? This is supposed to be good for you, right? Okay. I don't know. I have no idea. So I got some Gatorade. Keep it cold throughout the show. Hit those thumbs up buttons. Hit the subscribe button if you're new here. Hit the notification bell to know when we go live. Yesterday's slate. Apparently, Kyle Schwarber just hits a home run every day. Apparently, it doesn't matter his ownership. It doesn't matter. Kyle Schwarber just keeps on going, right? I brought up the medium eights, the $88 30 entry max contest, because we don't have we don't have updated for. I mean, we don't even have. This is running live. I mean, the Dodgers scores are barely even in. So that's all I'm looking at right now. Let's see. Maybe within the past 2 minutes. No, nothing. Okay. So looking at this, even in that contest, remember it was a 9-game slate yesterday, so it's not like it's that small. Kyle Schwarber like 20% owned, right? 2 home runs. Who cares, right? Who cares how owned he is? Who cares, right? And then pitching yesterday was just pretty much, if you played Peralta and Bauer, if you played the 2 most expensive pitchers, you pretty much did fine. You were able to find points everywhere else, right? There were like 700 home runs on yesterday's slate, and none of the pitchers did well, right? And no one did well, right? If we take a look at just the pitching scores, and obviously removing Bauer, because Bauer scored like 24, right? But look at all these, look at everything else. Espino actually did the best out of point per dollar wise. And most people played Met stacks against him. But Eli Morgan, I guess, okay. 11, but everything else is like, if you played Zach Greinke, he didn't get there, right? Wade LeBlanc, he pitched 4 innings, 8 points. I guess for 5,300, 8 points isn't bad, right? Like, no one did well. So pretty much the 2 chalk pitchers, 73% Peralta, 46% Bauer. You can see across the board here. I mean, most of the sharper players that played 30 entries into the $88 contest pretty much did that, right? Mr. Goodseats just 100%, right? Broflex, pretty much. Bro. What else? The second most popular pitcher outside of this combination was Eli Morgan, making his, second major league start. So how much were you going to trust that? I actually played Tigers against him, because why not? Why, if Eli Morgan's going to be popular as an SP2, who said, oh, he's 9 strikeouts last game. Well, that's 1 game. What do we know after 1 game? He doesn't seem that bad. But if we go to the bats, we can see here that in the $88 contest, most owned was Ohtani, who hit a home run. And Emmanuel Rivera, who's batting 6th for the Royals at third base for $2K, He was kind of the punt play. Badu, I think, was only 3K on DraftKings. He was leading off for the Tigers. But the Astros were chalky against Eshelman, and the Astros didn't really get there, right? Alvarez, Tucker, Brantley. The Mets were popular, right? McNeil. Yeah, the 2K catcher, Mazeka. Right, he didn't get there. Then you had the Royals-ish. Right, you had the Royals because you had Rivera, you had Perez, Soler, 12% owned. I guess. The Red Sox were chalky, right? Bogarts, Kiki Hernandez. Where's JD? JD's somewhere around here. Renfroe was 10% owned. He had 2 home runs. It's kind of hard to win with playing contrarian, where the 30% owned guy gets a home run, the 20% owned guy gets a double dong, and the 10% owned guy gets a double dong also. And the 15% owned second baseman gets a home run. It's kind of hard to win playing contrarian when that happens, right? It was a bad day for me. I played a lot of Royals. The Royals were fine, but I didn't play enough of the Indians. And I was way low on the Red Sox. Although the Red Sox stack really didn't get there. Right? You needed basically Kiki Hernandez and Dalbec. You had a home run and Renfroe. So I don't think the 5-man of the Red Sox really got there. The Indians got there. Right? If we take a look at the Indians' ownership in the $88 contest, right? Jose Ramirez. I mean, some sharper players were a little bit over. Based on the bat projections, the Indians were over-owned last night. But not in this contest. Like, at 7% ownership at these levels? Eddie Rosario is 5% owned? Yeah, I would have played Ahmed Rosario, 5% owned. So they weren't over-owned here. I don't know what they were. I don't know what they were in the main GPP, in the bat flip. I mean, I was playing primarily on FanDuel yesterday, so it's a little bit different. Obviously, on FanDuel, you're playing one pitcher. On FanDuel, you don't have to play like Bauer plus Peralta and then have cheap bats. Okay? So it's easier to afford people on FanDuel. But still, on FanDuel, the Schwarber was 22% in GPPs. Ohtani was 25%. It's not like I had 0 of these guys, but yeah, when you get home runs out of chalk players, especially the first hour, just like ding dong, all over the place. It's like, I don't know how I'm going to win today. Don't know how I'm going to win today. A1 Beast Mode says, so if you just roster Schwarber, Vladi, and Ohtani, you could cash every time. Yes. Apparently that's the secret. Right? Just play Schwarber and Ohtani and Vlad Guerrero every day. And you'll be fine. And you'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Right? They just hit home runs every day. That's the way it is. Yeah, and then Shannon Lember mentions the Brewers. The Brewers got there late. The Brewers were just nothing, pretty much nothing. Avi Garcia hit a home run early in the game, and then all of a sudden, like in the 7th or 8th inning, they score like 9 runs and hit 2 more home runs or whatever, and that stack gets there. And I pretty much had no Brewers. I had more Hendricks than I had Brewers. Let's see. Going through the YouTube chat. But we can see with the sharper player lineups and the $88. I wish I could just see the bat flip, but we don't have that updated. But like the Yankees didn't get there. The Yankees were a little bit chalky. Like David Fletcher, like why was he 12% owned? I know Angel stacks, but come on. David Fletcher can barely hit the ball out of the infield. So those are the types of guys I don't play much of. Although Emmanuel Rivera at 26% owned. If you played Emmanuel Rivera as a one-off yesterday in GPP, may not have been the best move. I'm assuming a lot of these lineups here that these guys are playing don't have Emmanuel Rivera. It's a Royal stack. Like, that's fine. We take a look at the like Fire Dogs first lineup. Obviously, this is still with PMR left, so who knows, right? Because Bauer's right. Who knows what happened? right? We don't even have all of the Dodgers points in here. And remember, the Dodgers hit Betts, Muncy, Smith. They hit home runs too. We can see here Cleveland stack, right? Cleveland stack with Otani and Schwarber. Like, what else do you need? Hey, you're done. You win. Peralta Morgan. Awesome over here. It's Cleveland. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with Renfro's double dong. Jose Ramirez is in the stack. McNeil's 8. Sal Perez got 0. Jake Faria, 10 points. I mean, yeah, this probably gets knocked out by a Bauer lineup. Broflex best lineup. Yeah, Will Smith gets a home run here. You got Parra in the Washington stack. Yeah, I had national stacks yesterday. But like most of the stack doesn't do well, right? You need Turner, Schwarber, and Parra. That's it. But if you played Soto, Bell, Harrison, anyone else, Combs, no, they didn't do anything really, right? That didn't contribute, especially on a slate where there was like 70 home runs. Catcher was like the only position you really didn't need a home run. Will Smith hit a home run and what? And Hedges. And Rogers. Okay, 3 catcher home runs. I don't think he needed them. Ian Jays has a Washington stacked and 3 Boston. Right. Okay. This makes sense. You get the double dongs, right? Because this doesn't get there because of the PMR. Whistles. Let's see what Whistles did. Right. You're not going to see the Bauer lineups here. Right. Kansas City, Cleveland. But I mean, this probably didn't get up there because what? You got Santana, you got Merrifield. But what else? You didn't have Michael A. Taylor. You needed him instead. The 5-man Kansas City stack didn't get there on this type of slate. If there were 700 less home runs yesterday, maybe it would have been fine. Yeah, frustrating day yesterday, especially with the Schwarber, because you know that when 22% or whatever, 25% Otani, way under that on a 9-game slate. Good luck. Go goodbye. Is he on today's slate? What's going on today? Do we have Washington on today's slate? Who's pitching for Tampa Bay? How owned? Oh, we have ownership up or something. We got Coors. We got the Pirates in Coors Field. But we got Otani against Tyon. Schwarber just going to hit another. How much is Schwarber on DraftKings? Where is he? Yeah, so that doesn't even project that well, right? I mean, against Rich Hill. Okay, lefty. He'll still do it. Screw it. He'll still, 1% don't. I don't think so. There'll be game log watchers there. At 4,800, hitting what? He's been hitting like home runs every day. Right? I mean, not every day, but look at this. Look how stupid this is. Right? Starting on the 13th? Even like what? On the 12th? Right? Home run, 2 home runs, home run, and then, oh, wow, 4 days without, and then 2 home runs, 3 home runs, a day off, 1, 2, 1, 2 days off, and then 2 home runs. I mean, look at these point totals. He's not going to be 1% owned. People are just going to keep on going back to the well no matter what. That 1%, get out of here. He ain't going to be 1%. Otani's going to be owned, right? We have Otani here. Right, 24%, 4,900. Can they raise this guy's price? Otani should be a 6K player. He should be. I mean, what is he on FanDuel? FanDuel is probably there. FanDuel is up there, right? Yeah, 4,300. Okay, that's more reasonable for FanDuel. Well, we had Bellinger yesterday at 3,900, and he didn't do anything. So it doesn't mean, oh, it's too cheap, I got to play him. Doesn't mean anything. Going through the YouTube chat. DFS Degenerate, Blender, when looking at stacks and ownership, what are you looking at? Sub 5% ownership and the top 5 stacks? I'm just looking for teams that are lower owned than their probability of ceiling. That's it. Obviously, the lower they project overall, the less likely. So, like A team that has a 2% chance that's going to be owned at 0.5% is still low. Doesn't mean I'm playing tons of lineups with them, but that would be plus EV. So like just looking at like the stack projections, like for instance, I'm playing on FanDuel today, so let's go by FanDuel stacks. So you can tell here if I just sort by points, whatever. Like from a point per dollar perspective, like the Padres, the Rays against Joe Ross, as of right now. I mean, we don't have starting lineups or anything. So they're top in point per dollar as well as ceiling, as well as everything. But like the Rockies are poor point per dollar, but they have a high ceiling. They may go under owned as long as you're able to find cheap pitching or cheap one-offs or something. You just look. I could just look at this. Kansas City is going to be right point per dollar wise. Right, you can see here the point per dollar. That doesn't mean that point per dollar. I don't care about point per dollar. I care about ceiling. But I know, like the Mariners against Robbie Ray, a little bit good, decent point per dollar. But the ceiling is what 15 points lower than the Padres. It's like these guys down here, like these teams down here in the red, like Arizona against Carlos Martinez. You would think that, oh, I got to attack Carlos Martinez. That guy sucks. It's like, well, according to the bat, the Diamondbacks suck also. So maybe the Diamondbacks do well, and maybe they get 6 runs, but is that going to be enough? Point per dollar wise, they don't rate out or anything. But if I see that the Diamondbacks are only going to be like nothing owned, then maybe you play some. Maybe you play some. But if you see the Diamondbacks are going to be 7% owned as a stack, you'd be like, that's an easy to get out of here. Just based on the back projections. You have a projection model that shows differently, then okay, well, base it on that. Like people are going to play the Pirates against Marquez, right? But we can see here, even with the ceiling, seems like the Padres. The Padres are they in Cincinnati? Where's the weather report? Yeah, they're in Cincinnati. As of right now, they have the highest ceiling, higher than the Rockies against Chase DeYoung, higher than the Rays against Joe Ross. The Rays, they have to be playing in Washington, right? Yeah, they're playing in Washington. Joe Ross had a good outing last game. Are people really going to attack him? I mean, normally we would. He hasn't been that bad of a pitcher. But that's what I'm looking for. Like we could see the ownership right here. I mean, let's see if we have I could just bring it up over here. Just the bare basics, we probably don't. The stack ownership. Let's see. Is that that may be available. Let's see. Right here you go. Like I don't care about the smash percentages. This is all based on the plate IQ projections. I just want the average ownership. So as of right now, our projected ownership on RotoGrinders has the Padres as the highest owned, 13%. The Rockies at 8% or so. Cleveland 8%. Like so, I'm looking at these. The average ownership in general. So look at the Tampa Bay Rays, right? We said before, if we look on the bat page, one of the highest ceilings and one of the best point per dollars on the slate, according to the bat, as of right now. But we take a look at the ownership on FanDuel. Like these are the stack projections for FanDuel. Because it has to do with the salaries on FanDuel. But we take a look at the ownership, like way low for having the third highest ceiling, the second highest point per dollar value, being only about 4% average owned, seems under owned to me, right? So I'd be looking to play more Rays stacks. When we take a look at the Indians, like the Indians, third highest owned, and we take a look here, and we go Indians. I mean, they don't project poorly. But of all the teams on the slate, they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10th. 10th in projected ceiling, and third in ownership right now. Maybe that's you don't play as much of the Indians. The Red Sox against Keller, also similarly owned. They're a little bit higher than the Indians at least. So maybe the Red Sox are about efficiently owned. The Yankees, the Blue Jays, what do they look like? Yankees, they're up there. Blue Jays are a little bit down. Okay, so maybe the Blue Jays are a little under-owned today. As of these projections. These are only initial ownership projections. And with that starting lineups, we don't even know. Projected starting lineups. That's all I'm looking at. The Padres, are they going to be over-owned today for their ceiling? 13 versus 9 over here. Maybe a little. It depends. We'll have to see. But that's it. What's so complicated? Very simple thinking. Doesn't mean that, okay, the Indians are going to be over-owned, so I have to X out the Indians. No. It just means if you play lineups with Indians in them, you need to get more leverage in those lineups because for the projection versus ownership, they're negative EV, those individual pieces, that stack. So an Indians lineup would have to be more contrarian than a Rays lineup, for instance. Rays already in your projections in the bat project well and are under-owned, which means in Rays lineups you could play Chalk Otani if you want, probably. Indians lineups, probably not. So that's all it tells you. It tells you how to build your lineups. It doesn't tell you play them or don't play them. But if I'm playing 150 lineups, I'll probably have less of the Indians. Because I can make less plus EV lineups if they're over-owned. I can make much more Rays lineups. There are many more plus EV Rays lineups than there are Indians lineups, based on the projections. Let's see. John Carr asks, Splendor, sorry if you talked about this before. I've talked about everything before. So any question you ask, I've answered before. Is there a way to lock a certain player into team stacks? You're making 150 lineups and 20 are Houston stacks. Can you lock Altuve into just those? Well, you could obviously use the only in stacks button in lineup HQ, right? So if you don't want them ever as a one-off, like that Altuve example, you got a Houston. We have Houston on today's slate, right? Right, Altuve, you click only in stacks. You want to make sure that he's in every Houston stack. First off, the question would be why? Why do you want him in all 20? Is it necessary in all 20? Can you make better lineups with him not in them? The different second baseman. So I don't think in terms of that. I think in terms of full lineups. So that's the first thing. That's the first thing that I would say. Like, why? What happens if he's an 18 out of your 20? Okay, those are the other two lineups could be better actually. But you could, if you only want, like only in stacks, and you want to make sure that they're in every stack, all you have to do is create a group. So all these players that are here in a group, like let's say it's FanDuel, so you're making 4-man stacks, right? So you go here, you add all of the other Brantley. You had all of the other Astros. So Alvarez, Gurriel. I don't know what their projected lineup is, but I'll just pretend. Is Robel Garcia going to be in? They have Toro in. I don't know. Who is going to be in? Is Maldonado going to be in? Okay. Who else is on their team? Tucker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Who else? Who else are we missing? Straw. Right. I believe that's it. Correa. I'm missing Correa. Okay. So you put them all in. This is if you wanted to do it. I don't even do this. But if you wanted to, there's always a logic to do so. So put the conditional player as Altuve. Because you've already clicked only in stacks, so he's never going to show up as a one-off. Right? So, if Jose Altuve is in the lineup, you need to make sure that at least this is FanDuel, exactly 3 players. Right? Let's say you're doing 3 and 4-man, so you do 2 to 3. Right? So if it's a 3-man stack, Altuve plus 2 Astros. Altuve plus 3 Astros. If this was DraftKings, you'd up that up to, 3 or 4, right? For 5-man stacks. So this makes sure that Altuve is only in stacks because you click the button, and that when he is in a lineup, he's in all of your stacks. And you could also do the reverse. In lineups that don't contain Jose Altuve have 0. Right? You could actually do it the reverse way. Or 1. If you want these guys as one-offs, these guys are fine as one-offs. So in lineups that don't have Jose Altuve, we can't even have Astro stacks at all. And then you set your stacks to whatever. If you want, I want 20% of whatever. So when it starts making the stacks, it automatically has Altuve in. The usefulness of this is it necessary? You're playing lineups, not players. If they're the best point per dollar projected player in the stack, most likely they're gonna be in most everything anyway, right? So like if I were to build, like this is FanDuel, okay? So let's say I were to build 20 lineups. 20 lineups. And I just locked them in, right? So I just only in stacks and locked them, right? And if I run these lineups, like 20 lineups like this, obviously I get them at 100%. Well, I didn't set the construction, so whatever. You got 3-man mostly: Alvarez, Tucker, Altuve. Like you're most likely going to get him anyway. Like let's say we don't lock him. Let's say we go to stacks. Let's say we're building 4 4s, right? 4 4s on FanDuel. 100. And then we want all of the Astros. All of the Astros. Not as a secondary stack, but whatever. We build 20 lineups. I'm assuming you get Altuve in pretty much all of them. Right? Yeah, you get him, and you literally get him in all of them. I don't know how much of an issue it's going to be, even if you do it. But understand, since if you're playing teams and not players, wouldn't it be the worst thing in the world you're playing 20 Astro stacks and Altuve has 3 points while everyone else goes off? And you're sitting there, oh, I got the Astros right, but too bad I have Jose Altuve in all my lineups. Just build good lineups. Let's turn these things off. But even if you were going to play all Altuve, I don't think it's even going to matter. He's one of the best point per dollar plays on the Astros, so he's going to come up. Well, not really. Well, I mean, he's fits second base, and second base is a weak position today. Michael Dampier, strategy-ish question. Is it harder to win first place with 5-man stacks in large field when pitching sucks and multiple offenses go off? I'm thinking that in case of a lot of Dean stacks, 3-2-1-1-1. No. It's easier to win first place. All you need is the highest scoring offense and 3 good one-offs. And it's easier to do that by playing teams than trying to pick the individual hitters. Obviously, the more double dogs there are, the more stacks that would be viable for first place. We saw yesterday on the bat flip on DK, the winner had 8 one-offs. Good luck doing that. If you simulate the contest out 100,000 times, that lineup loses money. That's a negative ROI lineup. But you're more than welcome to build them. I'm more than welcome to have you build those lineups. Go ahead. Just makes it easier for me. But it won yesterday. So, have you ever seen people bet horribly in poker and get there? Oh, they called me with 2 outs and they hit one of the outs. Yeah, they had a 4% chance of getting there. They got there. Not like it can't happen. Real life pitcher. Is he really a real life pitcher? Why can't you just use your name? If you were a real life pitcher, you'd use your real life name. I'm getting a lot of same stack combos in my lineups. When I cap chalky stacks, they seem to only come in together, and I don't want that. What's the best way to diversify these stack combos? Well, obviously, increase the number of unique players. That would help. Because it's you need to really understand what an optimizer is doing. Once you really, really understand what it's doing, you'll be able to counteract it. There's only literally one thing that an optimizer does. There is only one thing. It doesn't do anything else. It tries to give you as much of these median fantasy. This column here, it's going to give you as much of that as it can within the constraints that you set it. So obviously, if two stacks project well, right? Oh, you got these two stacks, and you're going to play a lot of them. Well, if they both project well, the combination of those two, probably the best projected lineups out of the set of lineups that you're making. So like on today's slate, for instance, if you play the Padres Rays or something like that, based on the bat projections, you're gonna get a lot of Padres Rays lineups, unless you do something to prevent that to happen. One way to do it is to increase your exposure on the poor. Everything is guided by this point per dollar. Okay? So like Tampa Bay here. Brandon Lowe. Like we go to Tampa Bay stacks, for instance. Okay? Here's the order. The player that you're going to get the least of is Joey Wendell. Because it's the worst point per dollar. 2,800 for 9.07 points median. You're going to get a ton of Brandon Lowe. You're going to get a ton of Wander Franco. The number one stack is going to be something like Lowe, Franco, Choi, and Zunino. And then like Meadows. You're not going to get that much of a Rosarina, for instance. Right? So if we did this, like I'm telling you, this is what it's going to be. So let's say we're going to do 50 lineups. 50 lineups. Who cares what the salary is, whatever. And I go to stacks. And we're going to do 4 threes. Right? At 100%. And we're going to do all Tampa Bay. Okay? So we do 50 lineups. I'm guessing that since I didn't do anything else, Lowe is going to be in all 50. Because it's trying to give you the highest projected median lineups. Oh, almost all of it, 49 out of 50. Right? If we take a look here by team, sort by team. See Lowe, Franco, Meadows, Zunino, Rosarina, Choi, Wendell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You don't even get everyone. Take a look at the Rays. You don't get Kiermaier. Well, they're playing in an okay, there's not going to be a DH. So basically, you don't get any Kiermaier at all. Which makes sense because one of the lower point per dollar. And you get tons of Brandon Lowe. Now, it's also going to be paired up with a lot of the Padres. Right? So you're going to get a lot of this combo. Like we look at the combo. Look, Tampa Bay, San Diego, 27. Tampa Bay, Kansas City, 15. So now you go to San Diego and you go, okay, what do their stacks look like? Probably get a lot of three. You're going to get three-man stacks. Yeah, a lot of fam. Yeah, if we take a look at the point per dollar values of the San Diego Padres. Myers, fam, Hosmer. Yeah, you're going to get a lot. You look at this, 4.5x. So in order to lower the projections of your lineups and get more diversity, you have to either curtail the usage of the higher point per dollar players or increase the usage of the lower point per dollar players. You play more Jake Cronenworth. So let's say we go in here, go to my lineups. We can do it from my lineups page. So the less Brandon Lowe we play in our race stacks, the lower the projection of the lineup, which means gives opportunities for other higher projected players from other teams to be in the lineup to raise that projection, right? So if we cap, let's say we cap everyone for whatever reason. Well, we're building 100%, so I can't do 50. Let's say we just cap people at 60. Yeah, 60 should be fine. We cap everyone at 60 here. 60, 60, 60. Okay, just cap them. So you can't get all the Brandon Lowe. You can't get all the Wander Franco or the Meadows. Then you go here to the Padres, and you're like, I'm just playing all raid stacks. So it's like I don't need 60% fam. So you're gonna cap all the Padres 10%, 20%. Right? Let's say it's 20. You're getting too much. Are we getting too much of some other team or something like that? Let's see. Jorge Soler is a one-off in these 4-3-1 lineups. The Royals. Maybe you cap him at 20. You cap Sal Perez at 20. Cap Dozier at 20. Jose Ramirez is a one-off. Whatever. Okay. And then we're also, it's the number of unique players. The differences between the lineups should be more than one. Instead of like, oh, the same lineup and one difference. So let's say we up that to 3. So when it tries to make the Tampa Bay Padres, remember, what the goal right now is to make less Rays Padres lineups. We're still going to make plenty of them, just less of them. Okay? So now I'm going to up the unique players. So it can't just be Brandon Lowe and Austin Meadows and Tatis and Tommy Pham, those types of lineups. So now I'm going to up that unique players to 3. Cap some of those high point per dollar guys to get more diversity and have the projections of other players that aren't on those teams to be in those lineups instead of the highest projected point per dollar players from those stacks. Right? So here we go. So we capped all these. So now you're getting Kiermaier, right? See, you're getting Kiermaier, you're getting Wendell, right? We take a look. And yes, here's a Rays Padres stack with Shohei Ohtani, which you would have to expect. So we're still getting plenty of them. So we look at the combo summary. But look, we're getting less than we did the last time. Look, the last time we got, 27 of them? Now we're getting 15. 15 Toronto, 12. Because remember, it's playing 50 Tampa Bay stacks. 15 with San Diego 3-mans, with Toronto 3-mans, with Yankee 3-mans. Let's say you want to make it even more diverse than this. Right? So if we go to player exposures, let's say we wanted to make it even more diverse. We want to cut down on, let's see. We're going to still keep the Rays the same, right? 60%. We're trying to jam into Padres. Still want to have plenty of the Padres, right? But maybe not as much of the. Well, Joe Paddock is obviously not going to be playing for the Blue Jays today. He was traded for Corey Dickerson. But let's say we cut down on Sibian. It's like I don't want this many Blue Jays, right? So you cut down on the. So okay, I'm going to cut down on the Blue Jays. I'm going to obviously let's see what the pitcher's situation is. You're still playing a lot of Brandon Woodruff. So basically, you're playing slightly cheaper stacks. So maybe if you want to get maybe we pay down a little bit more at pitcher. So let's say we only use 30%. That gives 18% for cheaper pitchers. Right? Let's see what the diversity now is going to be. Still at 3 unique players. Want to see how many more combinations of these stacks they're going to be out of 50. And here we go. Okay, let's look at all the Rays combo. Yeah, now we get a little bit less, right? Now we get less of the Blue Jays because we capped the Blue Jays. So now getting more Boston. A little bit more spread out now. San Diego, Yankees, Red Sox, Colorado. And this is it. This is all you have to do. Oh, I don't want that much of the Yankees over here. Okay, so cap them. And be more concerned about capping the higher point per dollar players. Because they're the ones that are going to jam in because of these numbers, these median numbers. That's what it's looking. 140. Look at in order. 143, 142, 141. That's all it's trying to do. But in order to get up to these higher ones, median wise, it's going to use Brandon Lowe and Wander Franco and Tommy Pham and Shohei Ohtani. Right. So by you saying, well, I don't want all my lineups to look like this. It's like, well, then you're saying that you don't want lineups that project median wise at 143. You want lineups that project at like 137. Well, in order to get that, you're going to have to take away the guys that make those lineups project that high, which are guys like Lowe and Franco and Pham and Ohtani and all those guys. Right? It's like, I want to play more lineups down in this 129 range. Okay, but you have to tell that. You have to tell that to the optimizer. The optimizer just cares about this number. That's all it cares about. So you have to use the tools they have, the settings that you have to do what it is that you want it to do, that you want to do. Many people don't do that. They go, I'm going to lock this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to set that, and then press the button. Why are my lineups horrible? Well, why wouldn't they be horrible? You didn't do anything. It's not going to tell you who to play. And it's going to jam in medians. It's going to jam in median lineups more than not. Lineups that are low owned, that are down here, right? 130, you're going to look at this and go 143.31 at 109% ownership and go like, oh, this looks like a good lineup, but like this lineup down here at 137.3 at 66% ownership, maybe way better. Doesn't project that much further down by what? A double? 5 points or something? And you're getting so much more ownership with it. So this would be a better lineup. So these are the lineups that you should be playing. But more people, they don't do any of these processes. They don't think in terms of lineups, not players. And they tend to build these lineups. The optimizer, this is what the optimizer gave me. Yeah, they gave you high median lineups. Don't take any ownership into account or any ceilings into account. And you just get a ton of them. And then you min-cash a bunch of stuff. You're like, how come I can never win any of these things? Like, yeah, because you have to play lineups that are further down. Well, how do I make those lineups? By not playing by not playing with Jose Altuve in all of your Astro stacks, right? That's how you do it. Let's see. Going through the YouTube chat. Norm Bothwell, does the setting use running exposure percentages when building help with the diversification of 150 lineups? It can. It does. I don't think it matters that much. That's more useful, running exposure percentages, if you're playing all unique lineups in your lineup portfolio and you don't want to like organize your CSV. So when you use a running lineup, like let's say, for instance, you're playing 100 lineups into the large field, and then the 20 max, you're playing 20 lineups. Then you're playing 10 lineups into some other the $5 contest or something. Like in your CSV, you could just sort by entry fee. Just be like, okay, here's my 100, here's my 20, here's my 10 of those. But like if you make 130 lineups, it's all uniques. Like the ones at the bottom are going to be the lowest projected ones if you sort by that, right? And it's not going to be that diverse down there. So it's like, oh, I have 10 lineups into that $5 contest, and they all have like contrarian, like they all like I didn't play any Freddie Peralta yesterday and all those yeah, because they're at the bottom. If you use running exposure percentages, anytime once it's building, it's getting to a line and going, well, we used that the last time, so it's going to be slightly different. So I think it's more useful is if you're the type that I'm going to play a ton of content. I'm going to play 150 into the mini backs and a different 150 into the whatever, $1 or whatever, solo shot or something. And you're like, I just want to build 500 lineups. And I hope to be one of these things. Like that's more useful for that than for just actual diversification. It could help. I don't notice that it doesn't do as much because it's still trying to give you the most amount of median fantasy points. So no matter how the way, skip this and go move there, it's still gonna end up giving you, 50 lineups, 100 lineups, 20 lineups. They're all kind of look the same. The number of unique players is more of a diversification tool than the running exposures. Let's see. Doug Montgomery says, so by playing lineups here, you don't care about pitcher, just what projection is giving you from the optimizer. It depends. I wasn't talking about pitchers. The whole point that the whole thing that the exercise we were going through is to create more diversity in your lineups. You would have to go through and say what pitcher. I mean, we just used the example of Tampa Bay, but let's say you wanted to play a lot of Tampa Bay, Philadelphia. Well, obviously that would be reflected in that. Let's say you didn't want to play any Caprellian, so you X them out. I mean, that wasn't in the purview of the example that I was going through. Right? Because you'd go through it and you go, okay, well, I'm building 50 lineups like this. Like, how much of these players do I want? Do I even want any Caleb Smith lineups? Do I want any Caprellian? How much do I mean, that you do. But that won't help you as far as the combo stack diversification. Because do you want this thing? Okay, I'm going to have the same exact lineup just with a different picture. Like, if you're going for more diversification, that isn't enough. So you need to learn how to make it, because what ends up happening is it's like, oh, I played a ton of like yesterday. Oh, I played a ton of Cleveland. Played a ton of the Indians. Right? But like nearly all of my Indians lineups I had Mets with. Right? So it's like, oh, I got what if it wasn't for the fact that I had Mets in all of these lineups, maybe I could have. I had Milwaukee. I had a little bit of Milwaukee. And I had some Cleveland. But they just didn't show up together. How did that not happen? How come all my Cleveland stacks were with the Mets? Yeah, because they projected higher median wise. You had to look and see if you wanted something different, you have to do something to make it different. So that's the point that I'm making here. The pitchers, who cares? Play whatever pitchers you want. But what ends up happening is if you just blindly try, just like, I don't know I don't even know how an optimizer works. You're going to get into those situations where I'm going to play a ton of Tampa Bay and San Diego, and they're all going to be together. And one of those two teams bombs, and then none of your lineups get there because they're all together. Well, Tampa got there, but San Diego didn't. Uh-oh. Right? Or you have Tommy Pham in all your lineups. Well, that's what the optimizer told me. No, that's what you told the optimizer. You didn't do anything. All it cares about is median fantasy points. That's not GPP play. You have to tell it what lineups you want. Michael Dampier, QQ. I try to leave personal feelings out of changing projections because the bat has been really good. The conundrum, the bat relatively likes Carlos Martinez again. Do you normally just go with the bat? Yes. In relation to the ownership. That's all I really care about. If people are actually on Carlos Martinez today, I'd be more than, I don't care what the bat says. I'll probably won't play him. Right? Probably don't have to play him in FanDuel. We take a look at DraftKings. I mean, it's not like he projects great or anything. He really doesn't, right? A point per 2.12. I guess a little. But at 2% ownership at 7K, if you want to, okay, at 2% ownership, fine, right? Okay, go for it. Have fun. You tell me that was 20%, I had nothing to do with him. Nothing. Right, because understand that Cardi's projections model has the longest decay period. It takes a very large sample size. And I know we've seen Carlos Martinez pitch, this season. Not good. Right? 7 walks. 7 walks against the Pirates. But it also means he'll be 2% owned. Does it mean I'm playing 100 lineups and he's going to be in half of them? No problem. No. But yes, you can't trust a model and then not trust one little not trust one thing. There's someone in the bat Discord that constantly, it seems like anytime he plays Gary Sanchez is like, I just have to ignore his projection. Just have to manually bump him down. It's like, well, do you trust when you played Ohtani in the same lineup? Did you bump him down? No. Well, it's the same model. So either you trust the model or you don't trust the model. You can't trust the model for a certain player and not for another player. It is what it is. So to me, that's my view. So if Carlos Martinez projects halfway decently and his ownership allows you to get leverage in your lineup, then I'm going to end up having some Carlos Martinez. Shannon Lambert says, going to be an interesting slate. You could play Giolito and Woodruff and a full course stack, which means maybe you shouldn't be doing it, right? Try to get different. Try to get different. That's what we try to do here. Get different to win GPPs. Unless it was yesterday. Right? You just play Kyle Schwarber every day. Play Kyle Schwarber, play Shohei Ohtani, play Vlad Guerrero. You play the 2 most expensive pitchers, and you just print, apparently. That's what you do. You just play the chalk. It always gets there until it doesn't get there. And then you decide to not play the chalk, and then it gets there. Right? That's baseball. It's high variance. It's high variance today. But we'll go over everything that happens today, tomorrow, right? Because that's what we do on the show. Hit those thumbs up buttons on your way out the door. The thummy thumbs up, down, it doesn't matter. Click around. Click whatever you want, right? If you want to learn more about Lineup HQ, about how to use optimizers and stuff like that, especially the RotoGrinders one, that's the one I use. I eat my own dog food. I show you. This is exactly what I do. I'm showing it to you. This is what it is. I'm not hiding anything. But there are Roto Academy videos if you're a RotoGrinders Premium member. So sign up for RotoGrinders Premium. Click on the link in the description for $10 off your first month. And you get full access to Lineup HQ, the Plate IQ projections. If you're a combo premium, you get all the sports. You want to play some playoff basketball? You want to build 150 lineups for that? And hopefully not tie a million ways? Yeah, you could do that too. Go ahead. Join RotoGrinders Premium. I'm always in the Discord. I'm going to ask questions or anything. You'd always reply or whatever me in the RotoGrinders Premium Discord. I'm very much in the bat channel. So if you're a member of the bat, that's an add-on if you want the bat projections. And yeah, so hit those thumbs up buttons on the way out the door. Subscribe if you're new here. Notification bell to know when we go live. We got Grinders Live coming up later today. Grinders Live, crunch time for premium members. Also, the lineup, they also do like a afternoon NBA for the playoffs. They do like a lineup HQ type of round table show. That's for premium members also. We got golf this week. No MMA, right? No MMA this week. Soccer, Euro soccer going on. We got projections for that. We got everything. We got tons of stuff going on here at RotoGrinders. And then you got me. That's what I do here. I do this for you. DFS strategy, talk about stuff, answer your questions like I do every Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock Eastern on the DFS pregame show on RotoGrinders.com.